It's not uncommon that I start off my videos by saying I often get questions like, and I use this platform and I use these videos to answer the common questions that I get. And I do that because I think if one person is asking me, or in my case, if 100 people are asking me, that probably means 10,000 people out in the world have that same question as it relates to solution-focused brief therapy. Today, we're gonna do something different. I'm gonna talk to you about questions that I never receive. And I'm using never in a literal sense, like questions that I have never, not once, been asked. And I wanna tell you why these questions matter. So here's the type of questions that I often get. Like, Elliot, how do you use solution-focused brief therapy with a gay couple? Or Elliot, does solution-focused brief therapy work with a lesbian who has been cut off from her family? Or Elliot, does solution-focused brief therapy work with a young black child who's struggling in the inner city? Or Elliot, does solution-focused brief therapy work with someone who's in a minority religion living in a Christian world? Does solution-focused brief therapy work with those people? I get those kinds of questions all the time. Does solution-focused brief therapy work with insert outlier? But let me tell you the questions I never get. No one has ever, not one time, emailed me and said, Elliot, does solution-focused brief therapy work with a straight couple? No one has ever asked me, Elliot, does solution-focused brief therapy work with an affluent white male? No one has ever emailed me, not even once, saying, Elliot, does solution-focused brief therapy work with a Christian? People don't ask those questions because the world defaults to those populations. And the reason that this matters is because we start feeling like someone who falls outside of the default. We start wondering, can solution-focused brief therapy make a difference for these people? And listen, guys, I cannot stress this enough. People are just people, and you have to treat them clinically as they're just people. And if someone comes into your office that falls outside of those like default parameters, it's your job to treat them identically to how you would treat somebody that is inside that window. We are letting people down, we're letting ourselves down when we start treating people as if they are the outlier. Listen, being a lesbian is not the problem, it's the way the world treats them that is the problem. So we have to treat the person as the person so they can deal with the issue. Being a black person is not the problem. There's nothing wrong with being black. What's wrong is the way that those things are interacted with in the world. So we can't treat the client as if the outlier is the problem. There's nothing in the world wrong with participating in whichever religion makes sense to you. The problem is you live in a world where sometimes that interaction creates negativity and hardships for you, so we have to treat the person and build them up so they can deal with the hardship. And I think we don't think about it that often, which is why not one time in 15 years of saying this, and it's meaningful for me to say this because there is no training organization bigger than mine. We literally train 12 to 15,000 people every month. Every month, that number of people consume some of my training material. And you wouldn't believe the amount of questions I receive on a daily basis. Literally hundreds. And not one of them asks questions like, how do you use solution-focused brief therapy with a straight client? Or how do you use solution-focused brief therapy with a heterosexual couple? They don't ask that because that falls within the world of making sense. We have to be able to treat the outliers as if they are people. That's the trick. That's what I think we need to do, not only as solution-focused brief therapists in the clinical space, but we need to be able to do that in the world at large as well. So just remember, treat every client like they're people, treat every client like they're wonderful, treat every client like they have rights, like they have privileges, like they deserve to be there and they can accomplish things. And not only will your work get better, but so too will your life and their lives as well.